Welcome to our group's Lydia Lubey analysis non-internet based version made by Emily, V. Anh, and Hui. Okay, so here's a little bit introduction in case you're having a daydream. Lydia Lubey is, as described in Act 1, a robust, laughing girl of 27. She's the wife of Frank Lubey, and the Lubeys are the Keller's neighbor. She has 3 babies, and she's quite a domesticated person who does not care or know much about the outer world. She's like that type of traditional woman whose whole purposes are children, church, and kitchen. The evidence for this is, if you remember in Act 1, when Frank are called by her to go and fix the toaster, well, she makes such a fuss about the toaster while actually the only problem was because she plugged it in the malted mixer. So she's quite uneducated, quite a country girl who does not know much beyond the fence of her house lawn. Well, however, she really is a resourceful and handy mother, and in Act 2, she helped Kate to fix her hair for the party night, and it took Lydia 10 minutes to make a whole hat out of flowers. She's only 1 year older than Anne, but already has 3 babies with a man who makes enough lavish of his leisure time making Larry's horoscope to prove that Larry's still alive, which he isn't. Well, Frank Lubey was lucky though, because a long time ago, Lydia was once the typical high school sweetheart of George Deaver, Annie's brother. But then the World War II happened and George was called for duty to the front by the army draft while Frank was not. And as the remark of Mother Kate, while George was busy fighting the Nazis, Frank Lubey was getting into Lydia's bed. And after all, as George admitted, Frank won all the battles. Okay, so we've probably know by now that Lydia isn't one of the main characters in the whole play. She only appears twice, one in the beginning of Act 1 and the second time in Act 2. In Act 1, she came to the Keller's backyard to call Frank, and then after that she asked Joe about Annie. Is she still unhappy, Joe? And Lydia makes such a strange presumption. She found it strange that Annie's here and not even married, while Lydia has got 3 babies. She always thought it would be the other way round. And then if you remember, Joe responded, "It's what a war does. I had 2 sons, now I got 1. It changed all the tallies." Now this response is meant as an implication to the loss of Larry, saying that Joe is obviously sad about his son's accident. But strange enough, it refers to the love story of Anne and Lydia as well. The war obviously changed all the tallies because neither Anne nor Lydia ended up with the same person before and after the war. Anne loves Larry but ends up marrying Chris. Lydia loves George but ends up having 3 babies with Frank. Lydia's impact over the plot goes on when she and George reunite in Act 2. George was going crazy with the Kellers because of the truth that he found out from his father early on in the play. Now if you remember, Lydia and Mother Kate appearance on the stage calmed the temper of George, and he was genuinely struck by the memories that Lydia invokes. He was a little hurt by the fact that Lydia has got 3 babies and shows obvious envy over the rhetorical question, "They never took Frank." This proves that George is still very much in love with Lydia, and he's still being nostalgic about his memories of her. Lydia herself seems apologetic when talking to him about her current family. This brings us to theme. Now, how can a niche character have impacts on theme? The themes that are explored through Lydia's life story are the aftermath of war and memories. Now, which one scares you more? War or the aftermath of war? Is the aftermath of war scary and devastating as war itself? Sometimes we are afraid not because of the bombing raids that happen during war, but of the innate feelings, the innate conflicts which we see, feel, and witness during the war, but comes back to confront us in the middle of modern daylight peace. We because it gives us a sense of uncertainty, of the unsure whether or not the war has ended, and a realization and admittance of how much we are actually hurt by the war, and how much tallies the war changed. Now for Lydia, the war definitely was a U-turn for her fate. Imagine if George did not go to the front. What if George stayed? George and Lydia could have get married and moved to New York City, and Lydia could have had a wealthy, dynamic life where she can actually see and understand that the world is much more than just a kitchen. But the war came and it took her boyfriend away, and from that moment, her life, all of her tallies changed. She did not wait for George and decided to get married to Frank, and confining herself to this very limited life. Now if George comes back after 3 years, as if a memory coming back to confront Lydia's decision, she now looks strangely embarrassed and a little apologetically. The theme of memories and war just intertwined here, and it brings sadness to both George and Lydia. George realized how much he had missed out on by going to the battlefields. By contributing to his nation, he had sacrificed his personal happiness and love. Lydia, on the other hand, overstepped the faithfulness of a lover to pursue and secure her domestic future. Our analysis is drawing us towards the unique theme tune for Lydia that we have found. Sadly, like all good things, it must come to an end. While you're listening to the tune, think about these theme questions that we have prepared for a deeper and more perceptive understanding over the character. Enjoy the music and see you again soon. Here are some discussion questions for you lots. Do you think that Lydia's decision of marrying Frank instead of George is right? And in what ways are Lydia and Anne Deaver alike in their decisions towards their future? We decided to choose 25 Minutes Too Late by Michael Learns to Rock as our theme tune. This song is about a lost love and the attempt of the man to heal and restore the relationship by searching for his loved one again, only to arrive at the church in the middle of her wedding. The woman misses him and wished he had not been late, just as the lost love between Lydia and George.
And I really want to make her mine. I'm searching everywhere to find her again, to tell her I love her, and I'm sorry about the things I've done. I find her standing in front of the church, the only place in town where I didn't search. She looks so happy in a wedding dress, but she's crying while she's saying this. Boy, I missed your kisses all the time, but this is 25 minutes too late. Though you traveled so far, boy, I'm sorry you are 25 minutes too late. Against the wind, I'm going